Good morning! Let's get it! Let's get it! Let's get it! Let's juice! Previously on Kimba TV. Did you have a chance, okay, Castillo, to chase it here? So this is the 7-5, right? I wouldn't be like too mad if you got stopped out or you didn't take that one, right? But what am I gonna say? Is any of this appealing to you? Because you understand that if this is going to be support, it will breach this, and then you're talking about all of this cascading. There's two areas for a potential short. I think one is the easy one is the one that's right above us, the single print and the SFP of the bad overnight high. So like a Lithuania Bugatti dealership bearish retest, or people got way too fucking bearish here and it'll go all the way back up to settlement for a bearish retest. So I think those two levels are my interests for today. Yeah, and then if it can get back above settlement or value area high, that's probably really getting above 107.360 maybe would be bullish. Yeah, just restore the gap basically. Let's see what the reaction is here. Teen says, does he expect a bullish scenario? No, I mean, I'm looking for a short, either here or here, probably. Yeah, make sure you rewind and get caught up. Sell 18, does he expect a bullish scenario? I would just make sure to rewind and get caught up. And then I also was streaming yesterday. How many of you guys were here last night? Let's go 24/7 Kimba TV. Yeah, I was here last night, so make sure you get caught up. We were talking about the 7505 rotation last night. Which is Fibonacci. Yeah. So last night we were like, ooh, can we come here? We wanted to long here. And then basically based off of this reaction, we were like, it's going to probably go to here. And so that's why we ended it last night. Alrighty. I think you were here last night. So, I mean, it's pixel perfect. We went from 7.5, we went to the 0.5, and now we're going to see if 618 is actually going to hold. All right, and regardless of what happens, I have levels to the upside, levels to the downside. So I'm ready for a scalp short. Well, there is no scalp long. I mean, the long is going to happen like below, but yeah, I'm ready for a scalp short if it goes back and cleans the overnight highs. Okay, and then it might be a scalp short on Monday as well, depending on what the reaction is. Ding Dong Sing Song says, new here. What's your trading strategy? I like to identify levels, step 1. And then step 2 is I will look at the data and edge when it gets to that level. And based off of the data, I will decide if I want to long or short. So for example, let's say that I identify the 7.5 Fibonacci with the VWAP and single print. Okay, so I know that I'm thinking about longing there. Now, when it gets there, I'm going to look at the data. So if there's a hidden CVD bull div, if there's a bunch of bottom shorters, if all the longs got stopped out, if it's a swing fail pattern, I'm probably going to long it. If we get down to that 7.5 single print VWAP and there's no longs that got stopped out, in fact, they're still underwater, There's no shorts that opened at the bottom. The hidden CVD bull div is gone. The structure is not there. Then I'm probably not taking that long. All right. Jawbreaker says, what's your thoughts with geopolitical context and the math? I don't really care too much about the news, brother. Yeah. So in the last 12 years that we've been trading and paying attention to news, it just accelerates the move, in my opinion. So I was already trying to short ES even before bombs were dropped. Yeah, so obviously you don't want to be too dismissive of it, and it can help you to realize, hey, maybe volatility is going to kick in, but it's just going to do what the math was going to do anyways, brother. Jeremy says, do you look at anything else than EXO and OI in terms of identifying trapped positions? Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I probably use is like my CME order flow tool. So unfortunately, I don't have the blessing of the software operator to stream it, but I have the Kimba.tv version almost done, which will be on the dashboard. Yeah, but if you think like watching Bybit longs and shorts get trapped is fun, wait until you actually see the CME big money get trapped in, opening bottom shorts and top longs. Jawbreaker says, so if it accelerates the move, could Bitcoin hit 94,000 today? Yeah, if nukes are dropped. Yeah, if Israel or Iran drops a nuke or a nuke goes off, yeah, 94. I think at that point, though, I don't think Bitcoin is really a concern. Let's go. If this actually goes to 5,900, I'm going to make like 2.3 mil. Which means I'm probably going to get round tripped. Fuck. Skadooch says, wait, so we are bearish? Wait, how far behind are you? You didn't even bother to rewind the stream? Quit playing with me, man. Gotta want it. That's crazy, dude. I'm doing this shit live, literally telling you when I'm getting filled, where my full fills are and everything, and yeah, but we're just scalping, brother. Instead of worrying about what I'm doing today, I would much rather you get caught up on what we're thinking about for FOMC next Wednesday and how you would try to get into a position on Tuesday or Monday. Yeah, but there's no right or wrong, brother. We hit resistance. I mean, 106, all of these levels have been here for quite some time. So, yeah. There's no right or wrong. I'm not gonna die on a hill on a trade that I took on a Friday. Never. Dude, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really give a shit. I have Pico perfect pixel top short on both Bitcoin and S&P. I can't lose. I got round trip twice already today. Once on S&P and once on Bitcoin. So, yeah, but I've been wanting to short here, so do you? Do you? Okay. Foster, let's go. Skadoo says, I'm in a 140 so long. Awesome. Yeah, I actually got filled live yesterday, tiny bit on the SFP. But like we said earlier today and last night, we're going to get round tripped. So I hope you shaved. Because I'm waiting for 120 soul. Skadooch. So all you had to do was just be curious enough to rewind the stream from last night or earlier this morning. Yeah, but you think you're the only one in a 140 soul long? There's hundreds of lions here that took that long. So Lots of questions about that. You know, a lot of great ideas on how people were going to manage their risk. Obviously, you have different people. So some people are going to be more bullish. Some people are going to be a little bit more bearish. You know, some people are going to be more conservative and try to, you know, close everything out by the 0.5 retracement. Some people are going to say, fuck it, I'm okay to be fully round tripped. Yeah, but that's I think it's going to get round trip. What I'm really waiting for is, again, I don't know if the high is good now, okay? Earlier, the high was bad. Now this is good, okay? So now maybe we have a chance to start breaking support and heading back down, okay? We're also below the Liquidation dealership, and I explained what that means. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we have taken hundreds, if not thousands, of trades on Thursdays and Fridays, and we know that it's not anything to fucking like commit to. You know, if we can get lucky and not get stopped out, awesome. But you know, the highest probability is we're gonna get stopped out, right? You're 140 so long, highest probability to get stopped out. My shorts, probably highest probably is to get stopped out. So if I can just walk away with a little bit of profit, that's Gucci. I can't lose though. But we would make a couple milli if we got our way. Burke says, isn't CVD hidden bull div? Even if you see a hidden CVD bull div, would you still long that if S&P was pooping? I'm really hoping it loses that golden pocket. Stop loss and profit. What would make it bullish is you get to spend time above the Bugatti dealership. And then, like the last line in the sand, the thing that would make the ability to get back above the dealership less and less probable would be to lose the VWAP and the upward trending support. So it's not really that bouncing off of VWAP and holding the orange line is bullish. It just, for me, means that the chance to make it bullish is still there. It's still got a chance to go back to the Bugatti dealership. Once you dip below the orange line, you know, that's like having, your credit score must not be any higher than like a 700. So you don't get a Bugatti. You're going to have to settle for something that you can get down there. Problem is, I usually try to take profits. You let them ride so well. Okay, do you have any TPs in right now, Logie? Logie, so based off of this structure, where would be TP1? I think it's the right thing to maybe shave a little bit here. I'm not going to shave here. I think it's also the right thing to shave here. I'm not shaving here. I'll probably shave 2% to 5% here. This is the first place where I would think about TPing based off of this. Okay. And then, so shave here, and then this is the question mark. This. All this shit. Where does it need to go to really fuck people up? Oh my God, we're going to 70 type of shit. So where would you put your stop loss? Let's say, for example, you took 95 long. And I don't have the answer. The markets are going to tell us, right? Because it's going to be dependent on how much open interest is open from where. So we could all take guesses and shit. If 92K loses, I would sell long. So we're going to probably go to 92. Logie, it's probably gonna go get really close to 90. Like I think it would do probably front run 90 is something like that. It's like it's gonna front run something. More so than wreck people, most likely. So I think like you're looking at maybe like a 91. Silver Wolf says under 93 is scary. Exactly. So it's going to go to 92, 91. And then there's going to be a lot of people waiting below 90. So it'll probably front run that. I don't know. There's no fucking point in trying to play this game because no one has no. What if it bounces off the orange line? Then all this is complete nonsense, anyways. So level by level, but conceptually speaking, that's what we're all looking for, probably, or at least that's what I'm looking for if I'm going to look for a long. You know what I mean? So I need gat talking about we're going to go to 70 type of shit. Kimba, you're the only one longing 91. You're an idiot. Got him. No, seriously, if I hear that shit, you're the only one longing 91. Dumbass. How we doing, Lions? What a day. What a week. Baratija says, mine was very quick. Shout out everybody in Brazil. How's the weather, man? Good? Hey, obrigado to everybody, all the Brazilians watching. Shout out everybody in Brazil. Shout out everybody in Latin America. Shout out everybody in Europe. Hands up, International Lions. Yes, let's go. Where are the American Lions at? Ladies and gentlemen, we are a couple of minutes away from Power Hour. Let's put our helmets on. Stop loss and profit. Whether you're longing, whether you're shorting, can't lose. All right? And it's Friday, so I think the most important thing is don't get got. Don't start your weekend off in some goofy shit that you wish you hadn't done. So, try to focus on doing the right thing. All right? Rooting for everybody. Everybody juice the fuck up. And helmets on, man. Holy shit. Boy! Shout out Belgium. Shout out Chicago. So... Just think about that. How can you call something support or that it did a bullish retest if it goes lower than that? Like, because you wouldn't call that level a support level if it goes lower than that, right? So there has to be a market shift in the structure. So you need to make a higher high and a higher low. Until then, it's just a dead cat bounce. Until then, it's just people TPing. Yeah, but if it really was bullish and if the buying pressure, not just from people buying and longing VWAP, but closing some of their shorts, like you, is that volume going to be more significant than the people that want to sell? And the only way you would really be able to tell is if you have time spent and volume built above level, which means it's going to make a higher high. Like people will buy at a price that is higher than before in the previous candle close. So it would be this. So if it gets above 105.8, like 2 15-minute candle closes, then you could say this was support. Until then, it's inconclusive. They could still do it. But that's what I think most like by the book strategy would probably say. But you can obviously hybridize stuff, Pariafo says, I've been watching you for a ton of time, every day, hours and hours. My girls already know all the music, just so you have an idea. That's funny. And I'm at home frustrated because I can't still figure this shit out. Okay, Pariafo, do you want me to kind of hold your hand maybe next week? And we'll do it together. I don't know either, Parifel. I think the main difference, perhaps, is that you're not putting your stop loss at break even, like when or where I'm doing it. Or you're just not realizing that we're just getting round tripped. left and right. So you're not really missing much, to be honest with you, Pariaffle. But you might be a little bit frustrated if you're taking like small losses, which is why I mentioned the whole stop loss and profit thing. Yeah, but do you want to talk about what your next short and next long would be, Pariaffle? And let's start planning some shit together. I'm down if you're down. You probably can do this, but you're probably getting in your own way. So if you want to tell me what your next long is and why, and where your next short is and why, I will tell you exactly what I think about it if you want. Do you want to know what my next trade is, Pariaffle? So if you believe that we're still in a bull market, then what I would do, okay, is lower the leverage to like 3x, 4x, 5x most, okay, and put limits from 97 to 91 and stop loss 85. How about that? Just every $1,000, a little bit, a little bit. Okay? And don't use all of your capital. Ideally, if you get fulfilled, you've used up about 25 or 30%. Okay? That way, you don't really have to fuck around with divs and open interest and trying to, do some high leverage bullshit where you have to babysit your position and put your stop loss at break even and look at Boo Gamma. And if you think that we're in a bull market, you could just simplify this shit and do that. Something like that. And what I'm basically doing is I'm looking at the volume range all the way. Look at the volume range on the left-hand side on daily candles. And you're going to see all these levels as well. And if that's not going to hold, we're going to know during the stream if the S&P or the traditional markets are so bad that that's like Bitcoin's going to get dragged down too. So that would be like a long, Now, in between the next couple weeks, I could see a scenario where we just SFP off of the low down there. Meaning we just clean like 102, and it doesn't go as low as we want on the initial move down. I could see 98 holding and bouncing. And I can also see it on the higher time frame shooting all the way to 92, 91. We spent a little bit of time earlier in the day talking about like a hypothetical front run of 90. Where too many people are expecting 90 to get broken, so it actually front runs 90. But yeah, and then for short, basically, if it gets above this yellow line, then I would be looking at 107. But in 55 minutes, U.S. markets are going to close, and settlement is going to be a different value. So basically, there is no more short to be had until Monday. And we have to regroup and look at the levels. If for some reason in the next 55 minutes we go up to settlement, then there might be a scalp short opportunity there. Okay? But this is I like this, or this isn't bad. So if this goes any higher, then I get stopped out in tiny profit. And that's it. No short to be had. And then I'm gonna if this like nukes over the weekend or right now, then obviously this is TP1, TP2, TP3, but like maybe here. This should get punctured, right? The 100,000 should get lost. This is not for a long. This is for after it's lost, this is what it has to regain for it to be bullish type of shit. So yeah. Well, the good news about crypto this weekend is that traditional markets are going to be paused. So like it won't have the confluence or the influence of traditional, the US market with any sort of like war stuff. But how was your guys' week? Not too bad. Not too bad. Regardless of what happened, Lion Cubs, that was maybe like a B minus, like a semi-average week. Yeah. So like nothing really statistically out of the ordinary happened. Um, Even with like a little bit of a pullback and breaking, it's still, the price is still 105. And so 104, 105, 106 is kind of like the buffer zone, you know? I think the bigger question is, do questions like that even help us take longs or shorts? So like, let's say for example, I think it's priced in. Does that mean that if I see bottom shorts and a hidden CVD bull div, I'm not longing anymore? I don't really know, even if we had the answer, if it would contribute any value or help me in any type of way. So I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I make money. I can't tell the future, you know. I think we do a pretty good job of identifying levels, and so I think that gives us a huge leg up in terms of being patient. You know, if we need to leave, if we need to see a level that needs to get tapped or hit or lost or held or whatever the fuck, like I think we do I think that helps us out. Shay says, Kimba, do you catch yourself getting more greedy on spontaneous use? I used to. Yeah, I used to. Now I try not to, Shays. Yeah. The levels are still the levels, you know? The Bugama levels are still the Bugama levels. Where I can see people betting that it's going to hold or not is still those levels, you know? If there's anything to take away from spontaneous news or any sort of uncertainty in the world, is I need to put my stop loss at break even more than ever, faster than ever, tighter than ever, more aggressively than ever. That's the only thing that changes. It doesn't really matter if I'm trying to take a long or a short. I'm assuming that I've done everything that I can, and I've waited for the level and I waited for the divs. But and to be honest, Shays, I'm in a little short, but if I get the level tonight, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to still long, you know, whether it's 91, 92, or 95 or 96. Yeah. And if for some reason this pops back above 106 and it turns 106 into support, and if it is during the weekend, then it's going to have to do it with good volume and positive delta. I can't just have it be a short squeeze. Then you might see me in a 106, 105. You see that 105.787? That's my short entry. That's also going to be my long entry if they're going to pop it above that and do a bullish retest with good volume. So if we're above that, if there's good volume, there's a good chance I'm going to show up with a long. If there was no good volume, chances are I'm not in a long yet, and I'm going to try to take that bullish retest, the tip. Because if we're above that on Monday or Sunday when CME comes back on, that's going to be a bullish gap. The gap will be to the downside. So obviously I'm going to be thinking, not only did they turn it over, but if they don't close the whole gap or it's just a tip, then I'm going to smash that market open as the entry, and the lowest wick that went into the gap will be the invalidation. And you know, whatever. Like if we're wrong, we're wrong, and you know, if it wants to retrace the whole thing, then whatever. Enjoy your Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend. I'll probably pop my head in maybe later tonight if there is volatility. But most likely we'll probably just regroup tomorrow or Sunday for a little altcoin nerd out, perhaps. Sounds good. Hey, shout outs to Houston and Cage. if you guys are interested in being up there on cam, let me know. Calling noob, let's go. Have a great weekend, brother. I'll see you guys in a little bit. It's weird to say that, but yeah, like in 13 hours, 14 hours. Give it up for Houston and Cage. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great night. Give it up for Houston and Cage. Have a great night. Peace, everybody. Kachoy, can I get a kachoya?